Hey guys, it's Kurlina. Welcome back to another Kurlina's Foodie Chronicles. In this tutorial, I'm gonna teach you guys how to create this spring floral cake. If you're new to my channel, welcome, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. This video is a collaboration with Chaleese from Chaleese Bakes Cakes. I will put the link to her channel in the description box below, so make sure to go and check out her tutorial at the end of this one. Okay, let's get started. Starting off with our cake, I'm adding a dab of buttercream on my board. Then I'm placing my first cake layer. I'm creating a border of buttercream. And then I'm gonna add lemon curd as my filling. I repeated that same process 2 more times. Once all my layers were stacked, I gave my cake a crumb coat and placed it in the fridge to chill for 30 minutes. Once the crumb coat was set, I'm using my scraper as a guide to mark out where each color is gonna go. My cake was around 12 cm, so each color will be 4 cm in height. Then I'm piping my colors, starting with a darker yellow, then I'm piping a lighter yellow, lastly, I piped some white buttercream on the side and the top of the cake. Then I'm smoothing the top of the cake with my spatula and the sides using my straight edge scraper. Where there are any gaps, I just fill those with some more buttercream. I wasn't going for a super smooth finish on this cake because I'm going to add some texture later on. Then I'm just moving the top of the cake. To texture the cake, I'm using a small spatula and I'm running it around the sides of the cake. I'm applying a little pressure to mark out the lines into the buttercream. And I did the same for the top as well. Then I place my cake back into the fridge while I'm working on those flowers. I added a dab of Swiss Meringue Buttercream on my flower nail. Then I place a piece of baking paper. I'm using a petal tip to make my flowers. To start, I'm doing a blob of buttercream. Then, with a fat part of the petal tip facing downwards, I'm just doing a swirly kind of motion to make the inside of a flower, which looks like this. Then I'm adding the petals. Once I added the first petal, I'm starting the second one at the end of the first one. So where each petal ends, a new one starts. You can keep going and keep adding as much petals as you want, make the flower big or as small as you want. For the pink one, I'm using a bigger petal tip, and you want to follow the same instruction, piping a blob of buttercream on the baking paper, doing a swirly kind of motion, then add your petals. And don't worry if you can't get your flowers right, the key to mastering them is to keep practicing. You want to check out my first buttercream flower video from a few years ago, and you will definitely notice the difference. You want to freeze the flowers for 10 minutes before placing them onto the cake. I made a bunch of these flowers using different size of petal tips and different colors. Once the flowers are frozen, gently peel them off the baking paper and add them to your cake using some buttercream. Final step, I'm just piping some leaves using a leaf tip. And here's the finished cake. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. You can always find me on Instagram and Facebook at kurlinasfoodiechronicles. Make sure to go and check out Chaleese's tutorial, which I will link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, spread the cake love.